Thou that sleepest, arise from the dead.
Read the Bible, you find out that God's not too happy with what's going on around us.
Redeem the time, because the days are evil.
The Bible has not changed.
Boldly proclaim the restoration and preservation of Christian values in America.
Satan has brainwashed a whole nation.
As goes the church, so goes the nation.
Nobody's convicted of anything anymore.
And now, here's Last Call with your host, B.J. Edwards.
Good morning. I hope you're all doing well. Mother's Day Eve. Woo. Wow. One of the strangest things about modern America is watching people exhaust themselves trying to out-argue the laws of nature and nature's God. We have an incredible program for you, Mother's Day, pre-natural family celebration. Coming up. This this is just a great time for America, starting with Mother's Day and going through Father's Day, celebrating the family. You know, Karl Marx, Communist Manifesto, 1948, called for the abolition of
families.
Yes. Said that communism would ensure that children would be educated by the state and not by their parents. Communists, he wrote in the manifesto, would rescue education from the influence of the ruling class. The making of the new man was a priority and the family was the obstacle. As soon as they won their first victory, the People's Commissioner for Welfare, we'll probably see that in another couple years, put it succinctly when she wrote, "The old family, narrow and petty, where the parents quarrel and are interested in their own offspring, is not capable of educating the new person." They encourage students, the communists encourage the students in schools to snitch on their parents. Before we get into any more trouble, you're about to listen to 2 hours of opinion and entertainment supplied by Last Call Radio. Excuse me, we're not doctors, lawyers, politicians, professional journalists, nor do either of us hold a doctorate degree in anything. Not that would make any difference, our opinion, of course. We don't ask that you as an individual and or corporately not take our statements or those that we voice from others personal, nor do we recommend that you act on them as if they are facts, although they might very well be just that, facts. Again, our opinion. You're not required to listen to, act on, repeat anything you hear today, and that any information or opinion we present is meant for the good of the order and by no means intended to harm or threaten anyone. Good morning, Mr. Anderson. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right, and I see we got matching outfits today.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's all about.
Right back here. Celebrating the natural family.
Over there.
Yeah, and behind you.
Am I locked up? I don't look like I'm moving.
You aren't moving. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Well, that's good. Well,
yep.
It's that's odd. I've had some issues with the computer. I guess I'm having more.
Amen. Speaking of Mother's Day, folks, I kind of wonder. Go ahead.
I'm going to disappear for a moment.
You got to wonder how Mother's Day is going to be in Western North Carolina. I saw an article the other day about the possibility of 300 years worth of lithium discovered in Appalachia. Western North Carolina is part of Appalachia. Could you imagine? And I think there's a way to do this. That big business and the victims in Western North Carolina can all have their cake and eat it too. Business can get what they want, access to the lithium, and at the same time build up or build back up. Must sound like a Democrat there, don't I? Build back up Western North Carolina, subsidize and repair areas in need of repair through capitalism. Think about it. They can grow and heal around a new and stable business using the current natives that would be willing and grateful for the help. I don't want this to be a political movement, but capitalism and local citizens, churches and organizations. Think about it. Think about it. You back with us, Mr. Anderson?
I hope so. Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
So you were talking about lithium when I left.
Yeah.
Valuable commodity. Yes.
Well,
Very dangerous.
It is?
It's very dangerous stuff to deal with.
I don't know what. Go ahead.
Well, I only know what I hear and what I read, and I don't spend a lot of time to verify. I try to verify, but I don't spend a lot of time studying the chemistry and all of that stuff. I understand that mining it and especially disposing of it is quite a big problem. It's a contaminant, and we're making a lot of batteries, and it's in high demand. So if North Carolina has it, they're going to want it. Yeah.
And I'm suggesting that we can kill two birds with one stone here. We've got folks in northwestern Carolina, and that's part of Appalachia, and I imagine that's where some of this lithium is. The capitalists can work with the folks down there and help heal and bring back some of what they've had before, bringing new business in, using the people that are there to help them out. Anyway, just a thought.
What capitalists? They're trying to take the land.
The people. I hear that, and I understand that could be a concern. But if we go in with a positive attitude about this, saying, okay, you need the land, you need the lithium, but we got a group of people here that need to have their area restored. We can do both, can't we, Mr. Anderson?
Good question.
Yeah, well, it needs to be asked.
Yeah, it's a good question. Can it be done?
Yeah.
All things are possible, right?
Yeah. Sarah Simon's coming up in our second hour. I'm sorry, I get allergies, so I'm going to be clearing my throat a lot, and I apologize for that. Just that time of the year. There's an article that I want to get to today. It's an incredible article written by Kevin McCullough in Town Hall, entitled "God's Design Wasn't Accidental." We're going to get into that today because it's very, very much in line with what we're going to be talking about. Obviously, the family and the celebration and what we're going to be doing, folks. The family is the foundation of all civilization. History records it. The natural family is the best practice. Any honest sociologist, psychologist, psychiatrist will tell you that children need their biological mother and father. When you remove one or the other gets tainted, there's a problem. And it creates a limp, if you will, in children that they carry around with them the rest of their life. And we have a 40, 45, 50% divorce rate, which means roughly 50% of children aren't living with their biological mother and father. That's a problem, folks. That is a problem. And we talked about communism. We talked about our school systems. Between politicians, the indoctrination centers, school systems. Here's what you have. Here's a recent survey. More Gen Z adults say life can be fulfilling without marriage and children. 74% of Gen Z respondents say they can have a fulfilling life. 74% of our youngest generation are planning on having a fulfilling life without children. That's the highest share of any generation. Around 2/3, 67%, say marriage is important for raising children in a stable environment, the lowest share among generations. They know it's important. They're not going to practice in it. And we argue, and we argue, and we argue about how are we going to get more money for public schools? If we get rid of property taxes, what's going to happen to public schools?
The public will have to step up. Not the government, the public.
Yep. Moms and dads. Necessity is the mother of invention, folks.
Families, churches.
Yep.
That would be the best thing that could happen, is not be able to fund schools.
Yep. But
I have this idea that these empty buildings that we call churches sit, 5-6 days a week unused, and families ought to get together and homeschool together.
Kevin, somebody might hear you. Be careful.
I'll scream it from the treetops. I don't know.
But you're an ex-teacher. You're an ex-teacher. How can you possibly say that?
Well,
because it's true.
It's true. I know how easy. Easy's not the word, but we're all teachers. We all spend time instructing. Who taught your children between the ages of 0 and 4? If you were rich, you might have had a nanny or somebody doing that for you. But
the difference between right and wrong, how to use the potty, how to eat, what to watch, what not to watch. I mean, it's
when not to grab a toy from another person, manners, all that stuff. That important stuff.
Yeah. And it's surprising. It's miraculous that children can get all the way up to kindergarten and high school being brought up by their parents. It's astonishing, Mr. Anderson.
It is. I don't. A lot of parents are afraid of trying to educate their own children.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard. It really isn't. When you get into high school, I mean, you want to share knowledge. My ideal situation is like if you're meeting at a church and you got 3 or 4, 5 families involved with educating the kids, and each adult has special skills that they could use and instruct. Somebody's good at sewing. Somebody else is good at math.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else is good at history.
Or plumbing, or taking care of cars.
Oh, yeah.
Or not just computers and AI, the basics.
Hey, kids, we're going to have a field trip tomorrow. Come in your work clothes.
Yeah, I love it.
We're gonna go down the street. There's this elderly lady who can't get her yard mowed or her trees trimmed. Bring some tools.
Outstanding. Hey, we're going to take a break, Mr. Anderson. Whenever you're ready for it, yeah. And then we're going to talk about what's coming up, Mother's Day. And we're going to talk about the history of it. Actually, Bill Federer is going to help us do that when we come back. Mother's Day. Go ahead.
We're going to invite Bill, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to invite him in. I could have asked him to come in and be on the show this morning, but he's a very busy man.
He is.
And this video that we're going to play this morning explains it all quite well anyway.
It does. It's a good video.
Yep.
Short break, and we'll talk to Bill on the other side.
There you go.
Faith, discussion, and so much more. Last Call with BJ Edwards.
And we are back.
We are.
And we're gonna We're going to play a short video from Bill Federer, and please hang in there because Bill's just an incredible teacher and can explain things a lot better than most historians can do. But this is about mothers, and this is about, well, why are we celebrating mothers, for heaven's sakes? How did that happen?
Well, they deserve more recognition, that's for sure.
It ain't easy.
And there are some organizations that are trying to marginalize the idea of being mothers. You were talking about earlier that generation, what do you call it? Z or X or whatever.
Gen Z.
Gen Z?
Mm-hmm.
Less and less interested in marriage and families. Something's wrong there.
Folks, you learn right and wrong in the family before you ever get out into society. You learn right and wrong in the family. You learn authority in the family. The family is set up. God, Jesus Christ, man, woman, children, a vertical relationship. And a very important relationship. And when you kick one out, like in America today, we instead of that vertical relationship, we now have a horizontal relationship where the kids are on the same scale, or taught or think that they're on the same scale as all authority. You can see that if you go to Seattle some nights, huh?
Oh.
You can see who's in authority there, right? Who is trying to hurt the cops, to destroy their cars. Don't listen to them. Where did they ever learn that? At home? I don't think so, Tim. Hey, I want to hear about Mother's Day. Do you have anything from Bill Federer about Mother's Day, Mr. Anderson?
Surprise, surprise. I have a little 6.5 minute video here I'll share with you.
All right, appreciate it.
We all love our mothers and should show our appreciation to them every day. But do you know the history of Mother's Day? You will be inspired as we find out how we got here.
After the Civil War, abolitionist Julia Ward Howe, writer of The Battle Hymn of the Republic, organized a Mother's Day for Peace in New York City on June 2nd, 1872, to bring healing and reconciliation after the Civil War. Her proclamation was an appeal to womanhood throughout the world. Julia Ward Howe sponsored Mother's Day celebrations in Boston for the next 10 years, but then interest began to fade. The person most responsible for a national Mother's Day was Anna Jarvis. Anna was from Grafton, West Virginia, the granddaughter of a Baptist minister. She taught Sunday school at Andrews Methodist Episcopal Church. In 1876, after teaching a Bible lesson, Anna Jarvis closed with a prayer. I hope and pray that someone sometime will found a memorial Mother's Day commemorating her for the matchless service she renders to humanity in every field of life. She is entitled to it. Like American Red Cross founder Clara Barton, Anna Jarvis's mother, Anne Maria Reeves Jarvis, organized Mother's Day work clubs during the Civil War to care for wounded soldiers, both Union and Confederate. She raised money for medicine, inspected bottled milk, and improved sanitation. She arranged Mother's Friendship Day in 1868 to reunite families that had been divided during the Civil War. Anna Jarvis's mother also hired women to care for families whose mothers suffered from tuberculosis. Inspired by her mother's self-sacrifice and generosity, Anna Jarvis wanted to honor all mothers. The second anniversary of her mother's death was the occasion Anna persuaded her church to have a small Mother's Day service May 12, 1907. It was so well received that the church decided to hold it each year on the second Sunday in May. The next year, Anna organized Mother's Day events in two places: Andrews Methodist Episcopal Church, where she sent a telegram, and Philadelphia, where she gave a speech in the auditorium of the 12-story Wanamaker department store. John Wanamaker was a retail pioneer and founder of one of the very first department stores. He hung paintings of Christ throughout his store. With the financial backing of John Wanamaker and H.J. Heinz, maker of 57 varieties of ketchup, Anna began a letter writing campaign to ministers and politicians, encouraging them to establish a national Mother's Day. Contributing to the effort was Notre Dame University's football coach, Frank Herring. In 1904, Herring observed a professor passing out penny postcards to students with the instructions to write anything at all, as long as it's to their mothers. Like Jarvis, Coach Herring proposed setting aside one day in the year as a nationwide memorial to the memories of mothers and motherhood, stating throughout history the great men of the world have given their credit for their achievements to their mothers. The Holy Church recognizes this, as does Notre Dame. As support increased due to the efforts of churches of all denominations, by 1909, 45 states observed a Mother's Day. People wore white and red carnations on Sunday to pay tribute to their mothers. On May 8, 1914, the U.S. Congress designated the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day. On May 9th, 1914, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed the first National Mother's Day as a public expression of love and reverence for the mothers of our country. President Reagan stated in his Mother's Day proclamation, 1986, a Jewish saying sums it up: God could not be everywhere, so he created mothers. English poet Robert Browning wrote, "Motherhood, all love begins and ends there." American poet William Ross Wallace wrote, "The hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world." The Apostle Paul wrote in 2 Timothy 1:5, "I have been reminded of your sincere faith, which first lived in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded now lives in you also." Abraham Lincoln's mother Nancy died when he was 9 years old. J.G. Howland's book, The Life of Abraham Lincoln, 1866, recorded, Lincoln said to a friend with tears in his eyes, "All that I am or hope to be, I owe to my angel mother." Lincoln wrote, "I remember my mother's prayers, and they have always followed me. They have clung to me all my life." On February 3rd, 1983, at the annual National Prayer Breakfast, President Reagan stated,
"I have a very special old Bible, and alongside a verse in the second book of Chronicles, there are some words, handwritten, very faded by now. Believe me, the person who wrote those words was an authority. Her name was Nellie Wilson Reagan. She was my mother. And she wrote about that verse, a most wonderful verse for the healing of the nations."
On Mother's Day, May 8th, 2020, President Donald Trump proclaimed, "We celebrate the exceptional mothers in our lives, whether they became mothers through birth, adoption, foster care, or other means. These women are deserving of our unending gratitude and praise this day and every day. In our earliest days, our mothers provided us with love and nurturing care. They often know our talents before we do, and they selflessly encourage us to use these God-given gifts to pursue our biggest dreams." I hope you've enjoyed this history as we wish our moms happy Mother's Day.
As William Ross Wallace wrote, "The hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world." We thank God for our mothers, not just on Mother's Day, but every day. May learning how we got here increase our appreciation for our mothers. For more information, visit AmericanMinute.com and TurningPointEd.com.
Amen, amen. I'm going to drag somebody in here, Norm Davis. Norm, you've done a little bit of counseling. What do you think about moms and the importance thereof?
Well, they're the most important member of the family, far as dealing with the kids. I think, of course, not to diminish us guys' role, because we've got our role too, but the moms, is different. Mr. Anderson said something a while ago that we're all teachers. And it reminded me of a little poem I wrote probably over 30 years ago called Everybody's a Preacher, whether you think so or not. And we all have an audience, though it may not be a large lot. We're all proclaiming a message to the people around us, you see, especially to your children, for it's like you they're going to be. We preach from the mountaintops, and we preach from the valleys too, for many are watching you closely to see what you're going to do. Now, it doesn't matter what you say you believe, but your actions really tell. So be sure that your conduct does not send someone else to hell. Little points there at the end, but anyway, no, moms are necessary, but so are dads. It's kind of like the family and the church and the government. They're all important, but they all have a different role. So praise God for moms.
Amen. Amen. We have. By the way, I was a guest speaker at a John Birch Society meeting this week, and talked about the family and the importance of the family. And folks, the mothers and fathers are the foundation of the family. That's what the family is built on. Okay, that's what it's built on. And our natural family month starts on Mother's Day, ends on Father's Day. And we honor children, well, obviously mothers and fathers, children, grandparents, great-grandparents this year. We got an extra week. The extended family, and then you have fathers. And that ends the week. And I'm gonna make a statement this morning that there's a lot of issues in America. There's a lot of issues in the world. But if we don't come back, why do you think the communists want to destroy the family? Why? Why do they have to destroy the family? Because it's in the road. It's an obstacle. It's a hurdle that they can't overcome. That they have to get rid of.
You're looking at a government that wants to control everything. In the late 1800s, early 1900s, we know a little bit about the Bolshevik revolution, where the communists were moving in. It was a small band of renegade, I don't know what to call them, bad guys. Mm-hmm. They were bad guys. And the majority of the people were struggling, with their lifestyle. The economy was horrible, and families were in trouble. And the Bolsheviks saw an opportunity, and they jumped on it. And that began to separate the families. They had to control the labor, and that's what they were after. They were after the labor of the nation, and so they had to pull the families apart to get the laborers.
Interesting, yeah.
And that was part of the Communist Manifesto. It's one of the things you say the schools teach, that the state's your daddy. And that's exactly what that was about, was the state becoming the daddy. We'll take care of you. Just do what we tell you.
Yeah, I guess.
But their plan has been successful.
Yeah, obviously.
Like,
Gen Z.
They started out at 3 years old now or something, and preschool, 3 or 4 years old.
Yep.
Yeah. And the sad thing, BJ, is that families go along with it, and they're actually tickled that the school will take them for a few hours and let mama go to lunch with her girlfriends. Sad.
It is. We're gonna have Sarah Simon in our second hour. We're gonna be talking about the aforementioned public schools. I've spent 10 years in school board meetings. 10 years. And I mean, I went to every school board meeting for 10 years. I was on a couple committees. There were other things that they were doing that I got engaged with. And what I learned, number one, unions run the schools. The superintendent doesn't, the teachers don't. How many school board members do you think got elected that weren't supported by the union? Darn few. And what I learned about the public schools is, and Mr. Anderson kind of alluded to this, is that they teach life has no meaning. They teach evolution is fact. Great. Okay. Now what do? I don't mean anything. I'm a child. I don't mean anything. Then they teach them morals are relative, multiculturalism, diversity. I'm okay. You're okay. And then man not God, is the major of all things. The state is your daddy. And you, child, are a victim. And we're going to teach you who the perpetrators are. Generally, that's going to be your white male Christian, some of their fathers, if you will. But they're going to teach them that. Go ahead.
Well, you're right. The union, the NEA, runs the school system. It's
Yep.
one of the. I don't know what their status is now in politics, but it was one of the strongest. It was one of the strongest lobby groups, right there with the Teamsters.
Yeah.
And held a lot of power. And looking back as a teacher, one of the things, the key things you just said is that they teach evolution as fact.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of those. I used to teach that idea, and somewhere mid-career, I got hooked on Jesus. Oh my goodness! And so I would catch myself in the classroom saying something. I'm like, wait a minute, I can't teach that anymore. I can't say that anymore.
Ooh.
I had to back off. And what I began to see was even more deeply when we go on field trips, like an innocent field trip to the zoo. It's filled with the ideas of evolution as they walk the kids around and they talk about how animals evolved and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I want to back up even a little bit more. Well, we know, if you know the name John Dewey and how he is considered the father of modern education, the first step in the whole process was teaching the teachers what they teach. And so the teachers are going along with the program thinking they're doing the right thing. And so the training programs in our universities are filled with these lies that filter down to our children. And it's hard to step out of that program unless you get, a revelation from the Lord, you get a relationship, and you start to realize that you got to stop lying to the kids best you can. It's
to
sometimes,
keep your job.
huh?
To keep your job.
Well, or I stuck with it hoping that I could make a difference.
Okay, good, yeah.
I liked my job. I had some financial security there, and that's the best part about teaching, I guess. You get a lot of days off during the year, and you get some money in your account, and it's a feel-good occupation because you feel like you're doing something to help other people. Hopefully you get on the right track. I know some teachers that really suffered when they had similar experiences and stuck to their guns. And, the name John Freshwater comes up, and we've talked about him a few times on the show. And we know teachers that have been dragged through the gravel, if you will, for doing the right thing. But anyway, I'm just babbling, I guess. But
well, you're a teacher and you're sharing experiences, and it's good information to have, and that hasn't changed. As a matter of fact, I would imagine in this day and age, Mr. Anderson, would you have to act differently than you did then?
I don't know if I could even pretend to do the job at this point. In what's going on in the schools today, I've been retired for I lose track since 2008. So so I've been out of the system for a while. I still have some friends that are close to it, but the description of what's going on in the schools today, it's horrifying to me. I probably would have to quit. I would not be able to be. I would not feel like I was a positive influence anymore because of the things that are overdone. We've been to school board meetings, and I've heard other teachers talk nasty stuff. I say nasty because they're getting on their LBGTQ plus train, and they're preaching that in the classroom and demanding to hang the flags up in the classroom and so forth. It's quite a battleground.
They celebrate Gay Pride Month somewhere, huh? In public schools?
Certainly. And they supply nasty books. We know, we've been in that battleground. I don't really, let's celebrate mothers.
Well, celebrate a natural family month. And I've asked the local school board to do that.
Yeah.
And I got a no answer.
After, you can get a no from churches, unfortunately. But.
Yeah. I go off a little bit, but I remember this has been several years ago. I had vote biblically signs, and I went around to the local churches and I asked them if they put a vote biblically sign in their yard. None would do it. None, zero would put a vote biblically in it. It's too political. What? the city would object to that. They'd make us take it down. I called the city. No problem. Called the church back. Well, okay, we'll take it under consideration. Obviously didn't get a call back. Kind of getting the same sort of thing, although not as much resistance with the Natural Family Month, but there's still resistance there. Listen, here's some, I like to go through the headlines, but these headlines are very telling. A judge apologizes to suspect in latest assassination attempt of Trump. What kind of a message does that send? Judge blocks enforcement of Colorado's new DEI-driven laws. That's AI laws. That's pretty good. America's government teacher who maligned Charlie Kirk right after his assassination. American government teacher who maligned Charlie Kirk right after his assassination wants you to know that she's the victim. Something big coming, right? Something big coming. Muslim-only day at taxpayer-funded Texas park, visualizing Europe's birth rate collapse. Wow. We live in very, very challenging and interesting times. I think we have to take a break, Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, I was just wondering if Norman had something to add, what she can do after the break.
Okay, cool. B.J. Edwards along, Mr. Anderson. This is your last call. Do radio. Get out there.
And we're back.
Yeah. Norm, the spotlight's on you, brother. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking about something. Do you think the church sees the school system as political? Well, let me. You were talking about the churches a while ago. I guess about 3 years ago, I contacted 15 of the largest churches in the surrounding area of me, around 30, 40 miles within me, and asked the pastors by email, would they support our legislators following biblical principles? Would you support that? How many responses do you think I got?
Probably the same I did with vote biblically.
Zero. Yeah. So, I got to tell you, I'm really disappointed in our organized churches. They just, we want to preach Jesus, and they need to, but they, I put out a little video a few months ago, is your church a big fat liar? And
Making friends, aren't you, Norm? Go ahead.
I am, yeah. How to win friends and influence for something. I forget what that was, but they're required to preach the truth. And one of the characteristics of a false prophet in the Old Testament was not telling all the truth. And that's why I said, is your church a big fat liar? Mm-hmm. Our courts require what? The truth the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And if we withhold any information that the court needs, we can go to jail for that. And our pastors are not telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. They're telling parts of it, and and I'm seeing too. We've got into this me mode, and our preachers are feeding into it with this Sunday after Sunday prosperity message. Hey, it's all about you,
Yeah.
and they need to be preaching some repentance.
Amen. Amen.
I can argue. Go ahead.
Oh,
Well,
Norm,
go ahead,
Norm got the dress code too, I think.
I did. I got the memo.
So, you got to be careful with the churches. And I also think that the congregates are guilty as well, because they sit there hypnotized by whatever they're seeing and hearing. But like my wife and I, we're like, okay, where did you see that? Let's turn to that scripture you just referenced, and let's read up above it, and let's read under it, and let's see what it really says, and then ask a question or two. That's when you get kind of like, shh, don't say that out loud.
Folks, please, we don't think that we're just complaining about the church. We're doing out here what the church should be doing, but we're doing it alone. We're not doing it with the church. So what I'm saying to you, this is Do Radio. We don't want you. We give you information, bad, good, and indifferent. We give that to you for you to use, and not to complain, but to do, to see the hurdles, to see the problems, to see where we're at. Now get in.
Seeing the problem so you can do something. I like our church that we go to, like anywhere. And I don't like this phrase either, but I use it, and other people use it a lot. It isn't perfect. That's why we're there. We're there to check each other and to hold each other up and share information. That's one of the things I like about our church is, as congregates, we are allowed to speak. And our congregation is probably the least judgmental group of people I've been around in a long time. They're very different in the sense that, they'll listen to what you have to say, and sometimes they'll just drop it, no discussion, for or against it. But that's part of the doing. I like feeling like there's something I can do. I think the church is very important. The Bible teaches us not to forsake the assembling together. There's a lot of different ways that assembling can take place. It's not always in a building, but it is a group of believers. And you get together and you strengthen each other in the word.
Once you gather at a school board meeting or city council meeting, can we do that? Can we gather together there, Mr. Anderson?
Well, we certainly should try. I do think we should try.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes they might have you see the door, and that's okay.
You don't know till you ask.
But, you go there, you speak up, take a little note with you, a couple of scriptures written down. I know JC's been good at that. Going in school board meetings and reading the Bible or whatever. Sometimes people don't like that very well, but hey, then you come back and you do it again.
Yep. Listen, this is what's happening. We mentioned earlier, Gen Z adults say life can be fulfilling without marriage, children. 74%. We're celebrating 74%. We're celebrating Mother's Day. Okay. But let me tell you what's going to happen, and it's already happening, if we continue to let the enemy control our children and control things like Mother's Day.
It was Mother's Day here recently in the UK, and the BBC amazingly decided to honour the occasion by saying how terrible motherhood is.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Now, just in case you were under the impression that the BBC is a great, respected, impartial news organisation that simply wants the best for the British people and people in general, no, not even slightly. And one of the ways we can know that, although there are many, is that the day before Mother's Day, they published an article entitled, "Like a Trap You Can't Escape, the Women Who Regret Being Mothers." That's exactly the sort of thing every child wants to hear their mum say on the national news. Now, in the interests of being impartial as they are supposed to be, they of course released dozens of articles saying things like "Why Mothers Matter," "Thank you Britain's mums," "Mum, you're great," etc. Oh no, wait, no, they didn't. No, instead they gave an anonymous misery compilation about regretting having children, and it is, of course, one of the bleakest things you could ever possibly read. So let's walk through it and then let's see why on earth they would do something like this. It opens as follows. Carmen loves her 10-year-old son, but if she could turn back the clock, she says, she would never have become a mum. She sounds lovely. Motherhood has taken my health, my time, my money, my strength and my body. The price is too high and the cost is forever. We're told that she's part of a quote-unquote hidden community of women who regret becoming mothers. So hidden, of course, that it gets front page coverage on the national news broadcaster.
Help! Help! I'm being repressed!
Now look, to be clear, there are...
Folks, it's already there. It's already there. It's just a sea across from us. Or is it already in process here? Listen, this is them before us. I love the organization because it is not adult oriented, it's child oriented. You know, the natural family, the best practice is very difficult to accomplish this day and age. We have you get into a relationship, and at any time you want out of it for any reason, you can leave. You can leave your children. That's awkward at best, and I'm being very kind there. But that's very difficult. Yes, it happens. It happens. I've been divorced. I got into that no-fault divorce era. And it's I don't know. I do know it's not good for children. It is not good for children. And they're going to walk around with a limp because of that. There is no ideal marriage. There is no ideal family. But there is a best practice. And the closer you get to that, the better off those children are going to be. And the better off the children are going to be, the better off society is going to be.
When we structure a model for living,
mm-hmm.
we don't want to present a failed example, do we? Or do we want to present the ideal example to strive for?
Right.
I think that's what we're trying to tell people. There's it's very hard to go out and find a perfect natural family and say, okay, here it is. What it is here's a perfect idea, God's plan. We've got it written down here and here and here. Yeah, we can go through the Bible and find where some of those families were pretty messed up. But the ideas were there, and the best efforts produced better efforts.
Do you brush your teeth 3 times a day, twice a day, once a day, or you not do it every now and then?
Well, I didn't do it all the time because I got to take mine out at night, but
and that's because you didn't do it before.
So I look at my kid and I say, actually my grandchild, and I say, take care of those so they last.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bring Betty on.
Hey there. Well, I just want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. You know, And even those that aren't, didn't have any, their own children, had foster children or adopted children. There's great
Yes.
mothers in that department too.
Amen.
And motherhood, the greatest joy was holding my little boy, when he was born, and you forget all the pain that you went through in those 9 months. But when you hold that baby, that's all forgot about. So if you think about it, mothers are the nurturers and the compassionate ones in the family, because who do the kids run to when they're hurt or sad or just something's going on in their life? They run to mom, because mom understands, and I think she's more patient than fathers. Not saying dads are bad, but they're more compassionate, and the best medicine is a mother's kiss. So, that's how I did with my son. If he got hurt or something, he got a boo-boo, I'd kiss it and said, "Is that make it better?" And it was like, it got cleared up right now, so I think I just say Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. They're
Thank you, Betty.
amazing.
That's perfect. That is perfect. And
I'm thanking you for all the moms.
I'd mentioned the John Birch meeting that I went to, and one of the things I mentioned is that I was the first from our family to graduate from college, and I was big stuff. Okay, barely got through, but I was big stuff. I was smart. I'd never been smarter in my life. Got married, had children, and once I had that first child, I realized how absolutely dumb I really was. And I also learned something about love that you can't, I can't describe it. But once you have a child, the meaning of love kind of gets accentuated, really gets accentuated.
And it really helps in the relationship with your spouse too, because you see
Common, yeah.
another commitment in love that you
Yep.
didn't have before the child.
Can I say something? When we become born again, we're transformed in an instant, just like Superman in a telephone booth, just like Coach Dave says. When we have that child, we're transformed in an instant.
Oh.
And it's amazing how your attitude changes, just like being born again in Jesus. You're born again in the family relationship of having a baby.
Incredible point. Well said. Well said. Yes, you may speak anytime now. I love it. I love it.
Very
I think
good.
I think we got a 2-minute warning coming up here. It's a little longer than 2 minutes. Then we're going to bring our guest in, Sarah Simon. I can't wait to talk to her. Moms for Liberty. Whoa, what a group. What a group. Do we want to go to that 2-minute warning, Mr. Anderson?
We will go to the 2-minute warning, and you won't like it.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
But I got to say it anyway. And I'm using the video to say it.
Our featured story, we're talking about the gubernatorial primary in Ohio. Vivek Ramaswamy is the winner. I will tell you, not everybody is going to like what I have to say. So JD and Vivek knew each other at Yale like 15 years ago, and that's also where JD met his wife, Usha, who is of Indian descent. Well, JD's firstborn son is named Vivek. Well, you're going to love the new GOP, which is JD Vance, his wife Usha, their son Vivek, and their best friend, Uncle Vivek Ramaswamy, who thinks that Americans are dumb and lazy. And here is the brutal truth about that. What you have to recognize about Vivek Ramaswamy is that people might say you have a Republican and a Democrat running in this race. And I've seen people say on Twitter, we have to reluctantly get behind Vivek because it's better than a Democrat. Anything is better than a Democrat. It's always better than the alternative. It's a lesser of two evils. These are the kinds of things that we hear every single time. Let me tell you a little bit, however, about the logic here. What does Vivek Ramaswamy represent? in the Republican Party? Well, first of all, let's just state the obvious. He is a foreigner. His parents are immigrants. He's an Indian. He is a Hindu Indian, a practicing Hindu. Let's go further. He's a pharmaceutical billionaire who is in bed with this clique of J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel and all these other interests. And what you could say in a word is that he is a complete outsider to the MAGA, America First, Groyper movement. This is somebody that does not represent in any way, shape, or form a pro-white, Christian nationalist, America First vision. Not at all. He's a libertarian. He's not even a Christian. And he's an immigrant that is in favor of more immigration. He looks upon immigrants favorably. His ideology, as he said, is something like national libertarianism, a colorblind meritocracy. He wants America to throw open the borders to the best and brightest of his homeland, India, and the rest of the world. In case you haven't noticed, that is in contravention of everything that Trump represents. That is against everything that the dissident right or the ascendant America First movement represents. We want to get back to a vision of America as a European descended nation. We spawned from Europe. We are mostly European. We have a European character. We're also a Christian civilization. That is the religion of our ancestors. That is the religion of our nation. That is the religion of our civilization. In terms of his demographic profile, his religion, his ideology, this guy is not America First. There is an imperative in this election in 2026. You know, I know, Vivek Ramaswamy under no circumstances can be allowed to become the governor of Ohio. So what is the alternative? Well, not everybody's going to like this. But in November, there's going to be two candidates that can win on the ballot in Ohio. And it is Acton on the Democrat side and Ramaswamy on the Republican side. If it can't be Ramaswamy, I think you know what it has to be. So you have an option. Stay home. But I think if you really want to make a difference and help, we're going to have to hold our noses. And we're going to have to vote Democrat.
Keeping you informed. This is Last Call with BJ Edwards.
And we are back. Mr. Anderson, you always make it interesting.
Oh, well, it's not me. It's this world we live in.
Amen.
And it keeps my head spinning. I don't know what to. Yeah, I'm very disappointed in our state GOP party. I don't know about other states, but Ohio is messed up.
Yeah. Well, we need to get more engaged in our culture, and that's one of the reasons we brought our guest on. We're going to bring our guest on today, Sarah Simon. She's the Stark County, Ohio chapter chair, Ohio ambassador, sponsor coordinator, Moms for Liberty, a very active group. We interviewed, I cannot remember the lady's name from Ohio a couple, 3 years ago, and very impressed with Moms for Liberty. Why don't you go ahead and bring Sarah on, Sarah Simon?
Hi, thanks for having me on.
If you still want to be with us this morning. we handle controversial subjects here, Sarah. And
I've been listening.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Well, you're welcome to express your opinion, or you're welcome to ignore it. We're here to talk about Moms for Liberty. And tell us a little bit about yourself first. I understand you're a U.S. military veteran, mother of two.
Yeah, not to give away my age. When I joined, you were still shining your boots. Yeah, I joined. Actually, I was packing my bags for basic training when the towers fell. So I did 6 years in the Guard, deployment with the Hawaii National Guard. I'm divorced, but my husband at the time, he went active duty. We did 4 years in Colorado. He got some sand on his boots, did a deployment to Afghanistan. So yeah, a little bit of a military background there.
Yeah, I get that. So what drew you to Moms for America? What were you doing prior to that? And then boom, you guys, well, wait a minute. I need to get more involved here. What attracted you to Moms for Liberty? Sorry,
Moms for Liberty. Well, honestly, I wasn't very involved in anything. And this is before COVID. We had got a lunch policy sent home, and they were only giving a yogurt and a milk to students with a past due balance. And it really upset me. I mean, my kids pack their lunches, but just the idea that these kids are going to school being lunch shamed and only getting a yogurt and a milk all day to eat just devastated me. That got me off the back porch, got me into my first school board meeting. I went to a principal first, and they're like, go to the school board meeting. And I've been actively engaged ever since. It became really obvious to me at that meeting, and the ones that I've been to, a lot of them, that there really wasn't anybody looking out for the students. So I actually did run for school board and lost.
Yeah, I'm in that club. I'm in that club. I'm in that divorce club, and I'm in that ran for school board and lost club. So
yeah,
I'm with you.
So then COVID had happened, and I showed up for I did show up during the summer, because they had closed down the schools and went remote. I showed up during the summer. I was ready to kind of fight, and I came with all of my facts and so forth. And when I showed up, that everybody was 6 feet apart and everyone was wearing a mask. And I was like, everyone's scared, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to push back today. No one's going to listen to me. So I ended up pulling my kids. They were remote for the duration of that school year. And I waited, and it took a while, but all of a sudden you started seeing all these Facebook groups pop up with parents pushing back. And I was like, hey, we got to get organized, and get together, get grouped together. And I was researching, and I found Moms for Liberty, and I loved the presentation of what I was seeing. The moms all uniformed, really respectful too. Like, I want to be taken serious. This is a serious matter. And I started my chapter, and that was October 2021. So that's how I got started with Moms for Liberty. It was brand new when I joined.
Well, that's a good side of COVID, because incidents like that create good people. They get okay, I've had enough of this. Because most listen, in America, and I call us an Uber nation, we don't want for much of anything. If we want something, we snap our fingers, and there's going to be a car drive up in our driveway about 10 to 15 minutes later, and you're going to get what you want. With AI, sometimes you don't even have to order it; it's already there, ready for you, right? And that's where we are as a nation. So why would I? I'm okay. This upsets me. I'm going to go ahead and just watch my favorite program and have my favorite adult beverage, and maybe I'll get to it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and it's away from you, and you don't think about it.
Well, I think there is a trend this way. I'm not special. There are more people like me in Starr County, specifically in 2021, and this during COVID. We have 18 school board races in our county, and it only mattered if you voted in 3 of the 18. The other 15 were uncontested. The last 2 election cycles mattered if you voted out of 12 out of the 18, and a lot of these people running are completely brand new. So I think that you are seeing more of an active role, which is nice to see, especially in the last election. I thought there would be a dip just because of the election results. But you're seeing that, local community members are finally being activated. And after you get them off the couch and off the back porch, they don't go back to it. I mean, I think that you can see that. So when they're involved, they're involved. So it is kind of nice to see that trend forward of people being more activated and involved, especially in local politics. So.
Yeah, and you can say, Sarah, that you don't want to be involved in politics, but it doesn't make any difference. Politics is kind of like oxygen.
Yeah.
You can hold your breath, but you're going to have to breathe it in. I mean, you can't avoid it. It's either going to be, and this is a very unique situation. It's going to be a case where this game, you want to be an away game. You don't want this game to be at home, because once it gets into your home, then you really got a problem. And stepping out and trying to avoid things like that. Moms for Liberty put together a really cool back to school guide. Tell me a little bit about that, please.
Sure. Our chairs got together and just put together various resources for parents, especially bills too, and their rights. A lot of parents don't realize that they actually do have rights. And we put that information in there for them as well. It's really nice to take a look at that. It's a PDF. So there's a lot in there, but if you want to dig into specific topics, there's links in there. So you can go in and really research whatever topic you want to learn a little bit more about.
Mm-hmm. Momsforliberty.org is what we're talking about, folks. Momsforliberty.org. What else can we find on that page?
I mean, I hopefully you have it open, but I think you can go through it, kind of have like a checklist.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my job to tell you how to parent your children. I'm just giving you some information. But we go through things that, you're not forced to vaccinate your children. You get those threatening emails from your school. That's your business if you want to or not, but you're not required to. There's information about the bathroom bill on there and different bills that have been passed recently. Also a curriculum that is required by the state. You might see a weird, I know they're doing, I don't have the PDF open, but there's like child abuse, sexual abuse curriculum that's happening at schools. That's really new. That's within the last 2 years. So, just to be aware that this curriculum's out there, you want your kid in it, don't want them in it, that's your business, but definitely know what they're being exposed to at school and just be aware of why that's coming through. So
you mentioned, I think in the 2021 is when you got active. Is that correct? Okay. What, you go out there alone, or were there other people already there that were complaining or on your team?
No, there definitely were a lot of groups popping up on Facebook and at school board meetings too. There was a lot of pushback finally. And not to go back to that time span, but it was really, somebody had put out a great, I'm a data girl. I'm IT 100%. But there was a really nice resource that was put together looking at the effects of masking in schools. And so they had who was wearing mask and not mask because it was on the Ohio Department of Education. And then you could kind of take that information. And there was also the schools were reporting COVID cases. So somebody had put together an analytic. I kind of took it and proved upon it a little bit, but kind of proved that masks weren't having any effect on COVID at all. But it is upsetting to see that our state wouldn't be using this information and that parents are having to sit there and do themselves, analytics on the background. There was just such a ball drop on how that entire situation was handled, even from like the Ohio level.
Yes.
I just wanted to point that out because it was very frustrating to know that we had these resources and they just weren't even being used to explain anything or to actually research and promote safety. So
you had a lot of opportunities with Ohio because they kind of led the way when it come to the masking and the COVID thing.
And you mean wearing them?
Well, in terms of controlling the public, controlling children, controlling parents with regards to COVID. Yeah, the mask is a big part of that.
Yeah, I mean, my child didn't wear a mask. I did not vaccinate my kids, and he was treated like a second-class citizen. He was quarantined, and then 92 days, because it was a 90-day where, like, after he was infected, he was good for 90 days. I think it was 92 days. He sat by somebody at lunch that wasn't wearing a mask because kids don't even wear masks at lunch anyways. I don't know what we're talking about, and they quarantined him again. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? But it definitely affected my kids. What happened with COVID directly. So
what do they think about that now?
It was my experience. Their experience was definitely different. I'm talking about when they went back, but for one full year, I kept them remote. Believe it or not, I know some students struggled when they went back. I obviously babysat my kids on doing their remote assignments. My kids went back and got better grades than they did beforehand. I mean, they were getting straight A's when they went back. They were also doing their schoolwork in I think it was 6 hours a week of schoolwork. But the one got into they were building ramps. Their friends came over all the time. So they were building ramps. He got into BMX biking and skateboarding. The other one started going to the gym regularly. My oldest told me it was the best time span ever. So I don't know.
Well, no, and that's good because you stood up, and there's something that child inside of them is going, I've got somebody here that's really on my team, And that was that's an opportunity that a lot of parents missed. You didn't, but a lot of parents missed. And they'll probably hold that against you, because I'm sure there's still people out. Go ahead, comment on that.
Are you talking about my children holding against me?
No. Other parents, maybe other children.
Well, I'm not judgmental. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be in a position where I work remote. You know, I honestly, no judgment on how anybody dealt with that situation. I mean, it was extremely stressful. I can tell you that I did have a lot of sleepovers during that time span. I mean, there was a social aspect that my children were deprived of, and parents were happy to drop their kids off and give me money for pizza or whatever, kind of chip in a little bit, because I had kids over constantly. So.
Good. So presently, what would you say the biggest issue here in the state of Ohio? What is that?
Well, I mean, I know that we have definitely combated a lot of the transgender ideology being baked into school, but I mean, it's still happening. You know, Scholastic is notorious. This has happened twice at my school, and my school is very podunk, and we live out in the country. You know, they're, especially these younger books, like K to third grade, they're really baking this transgender ideology in there. A lot of parents wouldn't even know it unless they were reading the books. So that's kind of scary. And to any parents watching this, really look out at what the books your kids are buying at book fairs or getting from the school, because they look innocent and they're not. When you actually get in there, it's very complex topics, and also sexualizing little kids. I don't even know why we would be talking about that, period, let alone, you know, K through third grade. That's insane. I actually had that come up recently at my school. But just keeping an eye on that, out on that. I mean, obviously we've had some great bills passed. Beth Lear's bill with the bathroom bill win. You know, Gary Click really led the charge, you know, with his bills, with the Save Women's Sports Act. So, I mean, we have made, and I think Ohio is fortunate that we're leading from the front on a lot of these bills, but that doesn't mean that you still don't have to babysit and see what's going on, and, you know, keep on top of what's happening. Because I mean, it is getting baked into like health assignments, normalizing it. You know, that's happening at a lot of schools. So you really, really just need to keep on top of what's going on with your children's education and having conversations with them, you know.
You know, as an exercise, I'd recommend anybody listening today, anybody that cares about children in schools, to go to the NEA, National Education Association, go to the NEA website and see what they think about what our guest today is talking about. The NEA was infiltrated by the LGBT community. I don't know what the year was, but it's been several years ago. And once they infiltrated, once they got in there, once they became one of the support groups, then things started to change rapidly. And from my experience with school boards, Sarah, unions run the schools, not the principal. And I mentioned earlier in the program that if you're running for school board and you're not supported by the union, there's a very slim chance that you're going to win.
We actually had the union, Ohio union do hate ads against our candidates that we endorsed in 2023. There's 88 counties, like I think it was like 26% of their Facebook ads, hate ads, were against my candidates.
Yeah,
but they're definitely threatened by Moms for Liberty. It was kind of a badge of honor that I am such a threatening person. But on the flip side, I mean, it was really rough. Jolie was one of the board members that we supported, and she won. But she's a gold star mom, the sweetest lady in the world, you know, volunteers at the local church. I mean, I come from a very small community. And her grandkids were seeing hate ads on their, you know, their devices about their grandma. And I was like, who would go out of their way to attack this woman? But it was strictly because we endorsed her that she was attacked like that, which is pretty terrible to do to anybody, you know. But they don't really do research. They're just like, oh, Moms for Liberty, you know. So
yeah, they want you to. We're going to take a break here.
Yeah.
They want. Hate is a great motivator. Love's a motivator too, folks. But hate is a great motivator, and envy is a great motivator. And telling children that they're victims is a great manipulation. And all those things are working against anybody that comes into, well, we're talking government-run schools right now, but any aspect of society right now, that seems to be what we're running into. Everybody, there's a solid group of people that are totally against common sense, totally against natural laws. It's just absolutely amazing. Mr. Anderson, take us to break. And when we return, we're going to talk more about Moms for Liberty with Sarah Simon.
Last Call with BJ Edwards. Real talk about real life.
And we are back. Sarah, I recommend the way I was brought up. I learned very early on, because of all the negativity in my life, that behind every rainbow is a cloud. And I always found negatives about things. And if I couldn't find them, I'd speak them into existence, or make them exist because I thought they should be there. And that's kind of where we are as a nation right now. We're so negative about everything. And we're cauterized, we're left and we're right, and we're not going to move from that position. And that's one of the things that I appreciate, Moms for Liberty. You're doing common sense things, and you're doing the things that individuals need to get involved with. You're offering them an opportunity, moms specifically, which is good, coming up on Mother's Day, mentioning Moms for Liberty. But what can we do to help Moms for Liberty? Please, how can we help Moms for Liberty?
Consider starting a chapter. So, I'm a chapter chair. We have 7 other chapters. It would be nice to have one in every county. You can get on our main site or connect with me, Sarah at momsforliberty.org, Sarah with an H. But starting a chapter would be the best way to do it. You only need 5 moms to do it. For how we're set up, we're a very strong group. And the reason is we have private Facebook groups in our counties. And then we also have support at the state level, and then we have support at the national level. But I have a private group. A lot of information comes out that way. I have 17 school districts in our area. But if a problem comes up, drop it on the Facebook page, let other people know about it. That sharing is caring. You can't fix a problem unless you know about it. So that's very extremely beneficial on starting a chapter. Like I said, it only takes 5 people to get it up and running. So that would be the most effective way or become a member of one of the existing chapters. And just to be clear here, I know a lot of times, and we are against some of these things I want to talk about. But if you Googled us, you'd see that we are against, men and girls sports. We're against sexualizing kids with inappropriate books, 100%. But, honestly, I go and speak about different issues than that. I go and I've spoken repeatedly about our annex, which is our weight room that was falling apart until the school fixed it. I showed up and just wouldn't let it go. I've been to the school board talking about like their AI policy and a cell phone policy, but you got to get involved. And the biggest change you can make is at the local level. I mean, if I wasn't there letting people know about what's going on and pushing back on them and doing public records requests, like I'm babysitting the board to make sure they're doing their job and not doing anything inappropriate. But you can really have a big impact just showing up to your school board meeting and using your voice and keeping on top of things. And educating your board, because sometimes when I'm sending these public records requests to the superintendent, part of the reason I'm doing it is to make the boards aware of what's going on. So getting involved at the local level is definitely a huge, huge step in the right direction.
And having a national organization behind you while you're at the local level is really a positive. Do I have to be a mom to join?
No, we actually have dads that are chapter chairs, believe it or not. But yeah, you bring up the support system. I mean, Ohio's fantastic. We have like our own chat. So all the chairs and some of the active members, we talk on a daily basis, which is great because it's Ohio based. But the national level is fantastic. We have over 300 chapters, which is amazing if you're me, because when I started, there was only 60. But all those chairs, we have a private Facebook group at the national level. If you have a problem, somebody's had it, you know what I mean? And they can tell you what to do, not do, or provide a resource for you. So it just, the support system there is crazy amazing. It's going to save you a lot of time and get you in the right direction. So
at the local school where you go to speak, what kind of support do you have physically? How many people show up to support you?
That's a lot of people don't show up to the board meetings unless there's something seriously controversial going on. But I can give you an example. I'm going to get too in the weeds on this, but our one of our principals at the high school was trying to do this cell phone initiative to get rid of cell phones. And 3 prongs of the 4-prong approach had to do with the cell phones at home. And he had also used AI to generate a fake podcast, which broke their policy, AI policy, because it looked real. You didn't know that it was AI generated. But I was really upset about it. I mean, these are my kids. It's my job to parent them. I don't need your opinion about what I'm doing in my home life. And I also didn't like the deception of the AI podcast. And they were talking about wasting a lot of money getting these pockets with cell phones. It would cost like $20,000-$30,000 to have the kids put their cell phones in pockets, especially hit on how people feel about that. But I mean, I ended up taking the recording of me at the board meeting and sharing it online. I live in a very small town, and I got 7,000 views within 2 days of that. And they ditched the efforts of getting the pockets and firmed up their AI policy. So, even if there aren't people showing up like they should be, that doesn't mean there's not an avenue to take advantage of social media and go, and hopefully your school board is recorded. If it's not, I actually have showed up to board meetings that aren't recorded, and all you do is let them know ahead of time. I mean, by law, you're allowed to do that, but record them for them. If there's an issue going on in a school, show up, give them a heads up. Hey, I'm going to be recording, show up, record it, clip it, post it. I mean, there might be 2 people at the board meeting, but I mean, I got 7,000 views.
and I'm sure they noticed that. I mean, if it's 7 views, it's like, okay, well,
7,000. You're like, maybe we're going to take a step back and reevaluate what we're doing here. So
take time out. Sarah, Sarah at momsforliberty.org.
Yes,
that's the way to contact you, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Ohio, what is your position with Moms for Liberty?
I wear a lot of hats. I'm the Stark chapter chair, but I'm also the Ohio ambassador. So I work. There's a handful of us at the national level, but we're working on growing the organization. A lot of back end going on with that too. And then at the national level, I'm the sponsor coordinator. So we have summits, and we just had our Ellis Island event in New York City, which was pretty spectacular. But I work with different sponsors and getting them looped in and partnering, not just on our events, but, connecting them into our organization and seeing where we could work together at different levels. So,
okay. If I'm in Ohio and I'm in, let's say, Logan, Ohio, or Circleville, Ohio, or Cincinnati, Ohio, why would I contact you?
Usually people find me and they find me when they have problems and they don't know what to do. Somehow they end up calling me.
So regardless of where they are in Ohio is the point I'm trying to make.
Yes.
They can contact you. You're not just Stark County. They can contact you, and then you can connect them up with people likely in their area or people that have dealt with this particular problem before. Is that a fairly good statement about that?
Yeah, and depending on the issue, if it's relevant, and let's say the resources are more of let's say I don't have what they need resource-wise, but I know that what they're talking about is extremely relevant, I can kick it up to our national level, and I've done that. We had a dad not in our area. There's no chapter there. Reach out, and his daughter was talking to a AI chat box on her laptop for school, and it became sexual. She was having she was young, like 11, 12, and it became sexual. And I mean, he was really upset about it and ended up calling me about it. And I escalated it to national to try to give him some additional resources. And our founders are really amazing. Tina is fantastic. So, I mean, she directly reached out to him and talked to him about what he had going on. I mean, AI is definitely a level of concern for Moms for Liberty. We're concentrating on that right now, getting policies passed, and we're at the beginning stages of it. But we're definitely leading a lot of conversations on that, because it is, like, I just gave you an example of what can go wrong with AI. So, with this being pushed onto kids so hard at school, we want to make sure that, there's some guardrails and regulation is needed. I mean, we're just not there. Tech's moving faster than regulations right now, but we want to be part of those conversations to firm that up and make sure that our children are safe when they're at school.
Somebody's going to be involved in the decision-making process, folks.
Yeah.
And if you have children and they're in a government-run indoctrination center, I'm sorry, if they're in a public school, you might need some help. Well, first of all, you need to engage. Do not think that your child is okay in that school without you watching and paying attention to what's going on. Do not make that assumption. There's too many parents that have done that. I could get into a tirade about how public schools shouldn't even be there, and we should just be homeschooling. And I know. There's always a reason to do that. There's always exceptions to the rules. We are where we are. We have what we have, so we have to deal with it as best we can. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring Sarah on and introduce you to Moms for Liberty, because they are an asset that you can engage, you can use in helping with your children in government-run schools. What else does Moms for Liberty get involved with? Just public schools, or?
We're focused on education. I mean, and parental rights.
Okay.
That's our niche, and we're very concentrated specifically on that because that keeps us more focused and more effective at our mission. I was going to bring up too. I mean, I've had teachers reach out to me, parents, teachers especially, because they're really worried about losing their jobs or repercussions. I'm very good about keeping their information private, but I mean, I'm out there fighting for whoever needs my help and doing the best I can. And I mean, I think we need that right now. And we need people to get engaged and get involved. And you really can't make a difference unless you are getting engaged and getting involved. And yeah, it's tough. I mean, I've had whiplash over doing what I'm doing, but I have zero regrets on doing it, and I have gotten a lot of whiplash over it. I've had petitions written against me. I've had harassing phone calls. Luckily, I have a good sense of humor about it. But you have to get out there. You're not making a difference unless you get a little heat.
And I agree with you. And like I said before, that heat's coming.
Yeah.
Now you can go out there and you can bring your shields with you, or you can let it burn down your house.
Yeah.
And we're recommending, and we're giving you an asset, a resource here that can help you. I know there's a problem in my school. I just don't know what to do about it. Sarah and momsforliberty.org. Let's start there. like you don't have enough to do already. Just contact Sarah. Sarah, in a few minutes we got that. By the way, I don't know whether any panelists have a question or comments for Sarah. So unmute yourself if you do, and we'll let you in. Otherwise, we're going to give Sarah the rest of the day off. All right. I'm going to add Norm here. Norm, go ahead.
Hey, Norm.
Hello there. God bless you for what you're doing. We need fighters, and we'll be praying for you. Now, how many members do y'all have now?
I don't know. The numbers are a little funky. Like you have your active members that show up to your meetings, and then you have the more passive members, and those are in the thousands for Ohio. So it really kind of varies county to county. I mean, I have around 35 more active members, and then you got your rural active members, the ones that are actually helping. Those are usually 3 or 4 that are crazy active on your objective. And then we have more passive members. Like I said, I think it's 2,500 is on our list for the state that are engaged at the national level in Ohio.
Okay. Like nationwide, how many?
Oh, that's over 100,000. I don't know what the count is right now. I know, but maybe I should have led with this. BJ, do I have a couple seconds?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So, I usually lead with this, but I got distracted. Just a background on how Moms for Liberty came to be, because I think it's extremely inspiring.
Yes,
it was started in 2021 by Tina and Tiffany. And these are 2 moms that lost the school board races in Florida. They got together. They weren't even friends at the time. They're just acquaintances, got together and say, hey, we got to do something. They came up with the name Moms for Liberty. They started selling shirts to financially back, what they had going on. So these are just 2 moms that didn't quit, said, hey, we got to do something. We're in 48 states. We have over 300 chapters, which are counties, and I don't know what the number is. I know it's over 100,000 members. And these are just 2 moms that, lost school board races and said, no, we got to fight. And I think that's inspiring, because a lot of times you feel like, what can I do? I'm just one person. But just to see these 2 women get together and accomplish and make such huge change. I mean, we're winning federal lawsuits. Tina, one of our founders, works for Heritage at the White House with Trump, leading parental rights initiatives. So, to see these women go from that to this and just the heavy presence in hand that we have right now. And I mean, obviously it comes from all these moms and dads getting together and pushing back. But, it does matter when you're looking at the big scope of things. We really are making a difference, not just the local level. I mean, that's where as an individual, you make the most difference, but collectively our voice is being heard enough to make these huge changes at the national level. So I really think our organization has a lot to do with the conversations and the progress that we've made from fighting Biden years ago.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've seen the ladies on several shows, and I knew you had President Trump's here, and you've got a major influence, and it's amazing what you've done in 4 years, 5 years,
Almost 5, yeah.
Yeah, 5 years, yeah, wow.
Just two ladies getting together. So
I never will forget Andy Biggs, who's a congressman from Arizona, you may know. And last year he said, if I get 3 phone calls in my office about an issue, I know it's a big issue. 3 phone calls. And I was amazed, at that. And so, yeah, we can make a difference if we get out there and fight.
Yep.
So God bless you.
Yep. Courage is contagious.
Right.
Folks, if you see a need that you're calling, okay, if you see a need that you're calling, don't answer the phone.
Yep.
Okay, answer the doggone phone, because somebody out there needs your help. Sarah needs your help. We need your help. There's a lot of good organizations out there that are doing something that you care about. Moms, huh? You care about the children? Do you care about what's happening in the educational system? Got an asset here. Got an asset.
I bet you have a place we could donate, don't you?
Yes, you can donate on the national site to our organization, and feel free to check it out. And you can donate to your local chapters too. That would be ideal for them. But just connect with them, and they'll help you do that. And I was going to point out, some of my best friends right now are from my organization. It's not. We actually do have a lot of fun. We're joyful warriors, but we do a lot of fun activities together. The sports system's amazing. You're not in this alone. A lot of times when you're doing this, it does feel overwhelming and frustrating, but it's such a great group of women that just care about what you care about. And it's extremely rewarding. Just the friendships alone that I've made, or honestly have been life-changing. So.
And they are. And I've learned that in terms of what I've done with the family, the people, and I'm going to include you, the people I get to run across are just incredibly, they're real. Okay. They're real people. I mean, and they care about the right things. They care about the things you care about, but you've got to get in the game to get introduced to these people.
Yep.
Is it going to be easy? No. But then again, if you wait long enough, it's going to be a lot worse.
We've done a lot of the hard work already for you. I promise you, we paved a lot out of the way for you when you join. I mean, so when you join it, a lot of, it's a nice oiled machine right now. So you just got to jump on.
Amen. momsforliberty.org. Sarah at momsforliberty.org. Sarah, thank you. Anything else that we forgot to ask you or you need to mention before we kick you out of here?
I'm sure I'll think of something as soon as we get off, but no.
You can email me. Sarah,
it was really nice meeting you face to face.
Thank you.
So
thank you. It's yes. Again, love it. That's why we got you on the program today. God bless you. Godspeed, and get back to work. You've had enough time off this morning. Okay.
Sounds good.
Sarah Simon, thank you very much. Mr. Anderson, how about a quick break for us, Mr. Anderson? BJ Edwards along with Mr. Anderson. This is your last call. I've got to get to that article. Oh, can't wait to read this.
Keeping you informed. This is Last Call with BJ Edwards.
And we're back. I love the folks that are in the game. I love them. They've got all kinds of talents. Weren't necessarily given them, but they've developed them. They've had to develop them. Necessity is the mother of invention. Mother. Huh. How about that? Kevin McCullough. I read the article because the title was God's Design Wasn't Accidental. This is in Town Hall. He starts off with one of the strangest things about modern America is watching people exhaust themselves trying to out-argue reality. And I would say out-argue natural laws and laws of nature, nature's God. But it's reality, and you're trying it. Men are women. Women are men. Mothers are optional. Fathers are interchangeable. Biology is negotiable. Family structure is oppressive. Commitment is confining. Children are somehow both impossibly fragile and fully capable of deciding life-altering truths before they can drive a car or vote. And then, after all that, we stare at the wreckage. Loneliness is through the roof. Anxiety everywhere. Birth rates collapsing. Children are confused. And families are unstable. And our culture elites keep responding like a guy pouring gasoline on a kitchen fire, screaming, why is this not helping? At some point, honesty has to enter the conversations. God's design wasn't accidental. By the way, family was the first institution he created for the benefit of man. Wasn't by accident, yet humanity keeps injuring itself, trying to prove otherwise. This Sunday, we'll talk about the importance of mothers, not sentimentally, but structurally. We've talked about the science and behind every early childhood development, attachment, emotional security, language formation, and how the first years of life shape virtually everything that follows. I did not write this, but you've heard it before. Continuing with the article, what's fascinating is how often modern research arrives breathlessly at conclusions Scripture, the Bible, quietly established thousands of years ago. The Bible records natural laws, folks. Children need stability. Families matter. Nurture shapes identity. Love and discipline are not enemies. None of this is new. It's ancient. And maybe that's what frustrates modern culture so much. We desperately want human flourishing without honoring the design that most consistently produces it. The best practice, if you will, my words. Because whether people like hearing it or not, healthy societies are they're always built on the same basic foundation: strong families. Committed parents, mothers and fathers embracing responsibility, children raised with truth, consistency, and love. When that foundation weakens, everything built on top of it really starts to shake. What do we say here? As goes the family, so goes the church. As goes the church, so goes the nation. That's not religion talking. That's history. And then he talks about his own life, which he says is proof enough for him. His mother didn't have a platform. She wasn't famous. She didn't spend her days trying to find herself. She spent them pouring herself into her children. When the school system wasn't working for him, his mom stepped in and educated him at home before homeschooling was remotely normal. She did it quietly, faithfully, without demanding applause from the culture for making sacrifices on behalf of her son. And looking back now, decades later, the author understands something he couldn't have understood then. His mother wasn't just teaching him math or reading. She was building him, his confidence, discipline, understanding of right and wrong, faith, my resilience, the way I would eventually speak to people, lead people, and love them. All that was being formed long before I realized it was happening. And when I lost her at 17 years old after battle with cancer, I didn't suddenly lose things, because by then they were already rooted inside of me. That's what mothers do. The world talks endlessly about influence, but real influence usually looks a lot less glamorous than social media makes it seem. Real influence is repetitive, quiet and unseen. It's packing lunches, correcting behavior, learning when exhausted, holding a frightened child, teaching consistency, saying no when it should be easier to say yes. It's 1,000 invisible moments that slowly become someone's character. And from a Christian worldview, that isn't accidental labor. It's sacred work. You see, Scripture never treats families as some side issue. It treats it as civilization's training ground. Long before governments, corporations, universities, or political parties ever shape a person, a family does. That's where values begin. That's where identity is first reinforced. That's where children first learn whether love is stable or conditional, whether truth matters, whether sacrifice means anything. Which is why the modern attempt to erase distinctions between mothers and fathers feels so deeply disorienting to so many people, even people who aren't religious. The Joe Sixpacks, right? Because deep down, human beings instinctively know design when they see it. A mother nurtures differently from a father. A father protects differently from a mother. Neither role is inferior. Neither role is unnecessary. They are complementary. And children flourish most consistently when both are engaged and present. This doesn't mean life is ideal. It isn't. Some mothers carry impossible burdens heroically. Some fathers disappear. Some grandparents, not the state, not CPS, but extended families, I added that, step in and save entire generations. Some adoptive families display extraordinary love and sacrifice. Human beings have always found ways to love each other through broken circumstances. But brokenness does not invalidate the design itself. If anything, the pain caused by brokenness is how valuable the original structure was to begin with. Best practice. That's the part modern culture keeps missing. And here is the key. You cannot spend decades undermining family, minimalizing motherhood, treating children like lifestyle accessories, severing sex from commitment and commitment from responsibility, and then act stunned when social trust collapses. You can't mock God's design for generations and then wonder why people increasingly feel untethered, anxious, angry, and alone. Remember that Gen Z? Reality eventually collects its debt. And we are living through that collection process right now. But here's the hopeful part. Truth has a way of surviving even when cultures try to bury it. Young families are rediscovering the importance of home. More parents are questioning systems that promised fulfillment and delivered emptiness. More people are realizing that success without family feels strangely hollow. That's because it is. At the end of your life, no one is going to wish that they had spent more time impressing strangers online while neglecting the people God entrusted them to at home. The things that matter most have always been remarkably ordinarily. Faith, family, love, sacrifice, presence. A mother kneeling beside a child's bed at night praying over them may not tend on social media, but I suspect heaven sees it differently. God's design wasn't accidental, it was protective. And every generation eventually has to decide whether it's wise enough to live within it or arrogant enough to keep trying to replace it. I was absolutely stunned when I read this article. This is incredible. I have to, that fact, I got a job for you all. Kevin McCullough writes for Town Hall. Find him and let him know that there's an organization out there called naturalfamilystrong.com. Naturalfamilystrong.com. the organization that initiated the celebration of the Natural Family Month from Mother's Day through Father's Day. The first week honoring mothers, the second week honoring children, the third week honoring grandparents, the fourth week honoring great grandparents this year. And then we've got the extended family. And then we ended on the week of Father's Day. That is the natural family. That is the best practice, folks. That is what we've gotten away from. No, none of that's perfect. Nobody lives in that family, but that is the best practice. That is the goal. As versus your feelings. That is the goal. Comments on the article, folks. Come on in. Come on down. Love to hear it. I mean, I was flabbergasted when I read this, Mr. Anderson. Are we losing you?
It's something called unmute.
Yeah.
So yes, it was a excellent article and very stirring. Well, I'm sitting here listening to that, and I'm thinking about some of Betty's comments, and it gives a little more meaning to a intro I put together for our Rumble channel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know how that works, but before we actually go live on Rumble, and they like to have a video in place. We call it a placeholder while we're waiting for the countdown for when we go live. And I make little videos to hold that place. And the one I made last night for Rumble has a little more meaning to me when I'm hearing Betty's story and I'm thinking about my wife. And Leanne's been very, she's excited because she's got a great grandbaby on the way with her granddaughter who lives in Michigan.
Wow.
And this granddaughter was like, I don't really want children. This is what she's hearing. And that's disappointing sometimes when you hear that from your kids, that they don't want kids. But this granddaughter is expecting in September. And she's very excited about it. And I see her getting her needles out and starting to knit a blanket. And she's thinking about, another baby, and that's exciting. It's exciting to the whole family. There's no words really, but I want to show that you've seen the video. I want to just play it. I'll show it. And for the end of the show, I got a nice little song to play as well as we close out the show for the day. But here's the intro, and it's also a little bit of advertisement for what Natural Family Foundation's doing this month.
It brings tears to my eyes.
Doesn't it?
Oh.
Yeah. It's amazing what a baby coming into the family, how it changes the hearts of everybody.
And I just think about those children that they're not going to have children. They don't want to have children. They have no idea of I mean, they're missing life. They are flat out missing life.
And they're shortening their own.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. It's wow, just absolutely incredible. Hey, listen, happy Mother's Day.
Norm, did you want to say something real quick?
If you think about it, babies are the most powerful teachers that we have.
Yeah.
Since we've been talking about that, yes.
Yeah.
They don't have a doctorate degree or a master's degree, but
they teach us more than we teach them, I think.
Absolutely.
They sure do.
Well, here's a closing song for mothers to honor them and the hearts of all.
Do something special for Mom this Sunday. Do something special for her, or something special for her, please.
And they like the homemade stuff.
Yeah. Amen.
Picked wildflowers.
Yeah.
I did that yesterday.
You might have them down there. Up here, we're just starting.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, if you go real early in the morning, you can pick some out of somebody's yard.
All right. Here we go. God bless.
God.
You gave me strength when I was weak, heard every prayer I could not speak, and every tear and every fear. Your gentle love was always near. You gave me faith when I was down. You turned my world and lifted me from the ground. You opened my heart so I could see. You were the light guiding me. A mother's love so pure, so true, a shining light in all you do. No greater gift I'll ever know than the endless love you show. You show. You gave your all so I could rise. You saw my dreams through loving eyes. Each step I take along this life comes from your strength and sacrifice. If I could give the world to you, it still would not repay all you do. Every heartbeat, every prayer, I feel your love is always there. A mother's love will never end. My greatest gift, my closest friend. Through every storm, you stayed so strong. Your love's the place where I belong. Happy Mother's Day, my loving mom.
Join us next week for Last Call with BJ Edwards.